Hi, welcome. Let's talk about Fitz-Chivalry Farseer from the Farseer Trilogy. The last video I made about Fitz was from Book 1, The Assassin's Apprentice. This video is going to be about Fitz from Book 2, The Royal Assassin. So you will want to have read this because big spoilers. And oh my, the angsty angst in this book. In the first book, he was younger. He was a small child growing up into teenagehood. Now he is a full-on teen, and he may be a little older and more experienced now, but goodness gracious, the hormones. At times while reading this book, it felt very YA or young adult. And I think part of why it felt so YA to me was because Robin Hobb is such a good author. She was very good at writing what a teenager was like, specifically inside of the head of a teenage boy. And honestly, I'm not sure inside the brain of a teenage boy is where I want to spend my time. But apart from the teenage, angsty, hormonal part of him, it's still a very enjoyable read, and we get to know him really well in this book. And from very early on in this book, almost the beginning, we see that Fitz thinks a lot about Molly. Molly is on his mind, Molly is in his heart, Molly fills up most of his world for a lot of this book. So besides hormones, which are very real and is going to have the girl he likes on his mind a lot, I also think his heart reaches for her is because she is one of the few people in his life to show tenderness and gentleness and to show that she likes him for who he is. And who else in his life does he have to pour his love onto? No mother, no siblings, no real friends, no pet. None of the normal people or things that a boy can latch his heart onto. So, Molly. Molly takes up so much space in his heart. She represents things for him that he never got to have and still doesn't get to have. Fitz really doesn't have anything in his life for himself. No little corner of, this belongs just to me. And so he describes Molly as being an escape. When he's with her, he can forget about all the other troubles, all the other stress in his life, and just focus on her, enjoy his time with her. He's really trying so desperately to compartmentalize his relationship and his feelings for her. He would like to marry her. I think he's afraid of the king saying no, and that's part of why he puts off asking for so long. And while I do think he loves her, I think his love was a little selfish. It's normal for a teenage boy to be a little self-centered and think about their own happiness. In his love for her, he's not really thinking about what's best for her, including what it might mean for her if she were to get pregnant. I really appreciated a couple things about the thinking about pregnancy in this book, because Hobb is not having Fitz be the one who worries about this. He's not the girl, he's not the one who gets pregnant, so he's not worried about it. But Molly is thinking about it. She's doing what she can to avoid getting pregnant. Lady Patience is thinking about it, and Chade really is kind of sarcastic to him about, oh, you're going to make a little bastard of your own. That was painful for Fitz to hear. It's not what he wants to put Molly through, but part of his kind of selfish love for her is that he keeps meeting up with her anyway, despite not wanting to put her through a pregnancy scare or what all the other women will say about her and talk about her. He has this dream that somehow he'll save her from that, even though he knows his life belongs to the king, and it's not very likely. And in this book, the second one in the trilogy, I don't see it as being as much about what Fitz accomplishes. He does accomplish stuff, but I felt like it was a lot more about his relationships with the people around him. And I'm gonna list these out here. You have Molly, Burrick, Verity, King Shrewd, Kettricken, Chade, the Fool, Lady Patience, Night Eyes. That's an interestingly long list for someone who still feels so lonely all the time. But as I'm sure many of you know, you can be surrounded by people. You can be surrounded by people that love you and still feel lonely because nobody truly and fully understands you. And there's good reasons why nobody truly and fully understands Fitz, because he can't share all of him with anybody. all of these people that I just listed out, he holds a little bit back from. But let's talk about these people. We have Burek, who's there with him basically from the beginning. Their relationship was rocky in the first book. It's still not like super pure in this one, but they have an understanding. I don't think Fitz ever doubts the loyalty of Burek anymore. He is still afraid to admit to Burek anything going on with Night Eyes because he knows how Burek feels about it. And he was right to worry because Burek doesn't like it. But I think at this point, Burek is willing to just accept that this is how Fitz is. And if he cares about Fitz, he just has to deal with it. And I really love that when Vixen died and Burek is mourning her, Fitz goes to stand in solidarity with him. I thought that was a cool scene and a cool moment between them. Then we have Kettricken, the queen. They are pretty close in age, and at first their friendship I think was a bit of an obligation to Fitz. It's not what he would have chosen to spend his time doing, but he does come to admire her and respect her, and part of his job is kind of helping her navigate royal intrigue and stuff. And he gets to see her strength. He sees some love blossom between her and her husband. Unfortunately, the bond between him and Verity colors how he sees Kettricken a little bit, and he kind of has to hold himself back from admiring her too much. And there might be some people who, when they find out she's pregnant, might kind of be like, oh, well, what about that young bastard? He's been hanging out with her a lot and her husband's gone. It would make for some easy and juicy gossip. And I really like that his relationship with Lady Patience continues. And I like that we can see little glimpses of what she might be feeling for him. For her, Fitz is kind of like the son she never got to have. The fact that her husband, Chivalry, had Fitz before getting with her means that he never cheated on her, so she never has to think about that. He was with a woman before her. A lot of royal men are. That's kind of something women in this world just might have to deal with. But Chivalry was someone who loved Patience. Now he's gone, and Fitz is kind of all she has left. And so Fitz is the one that she wants to take care of. She wants to teach him. She wants to help Fitz navigate royal intrigue. She wants him to survive. She knows that he's in really deep. She'd like to protect him and help him if she can. She wants Fitz to be okay. She wants Fitz to treat Molly well. She wants him to make good choices, and I think she probably wants to be proud of him. All right, then Chade. Chade is somebody who can understand a part of Fitz's life that no one else can. Most people don't even know what Fitz does for the king. Chade knows. Chade trains him. Chade, also a royal bastard, brother of the king. Chade pulling strings from behind the curtain, teaching Fitz to do the same, teaching Fitz how to be so loyal to the king. We are for the king only. We don't get a life of our own. We get to give our life to our king. And if I'm remembering correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's Chade who warns Fitz that there might be nobles who try to use Fitz, who would like to elevate him up to kinghood, cause some division, set him up as their figurehead, and to watch out for that, because that's not Fitz's job. Fitz's job is to support the rightful king. Although even with Chade knowing so much about Fitz, knowing so much more of his life than other people do, he can only get so close to him. Chade is so fully devoted to the king, his brother. But he's not the only one. There is another. The Fool. I have to say, after I read the first book, Assassin's Apprentice, I would see people online who really, really love the Fool. The Fool is one of their favorite characters ever, or at least their favorite character in the realm of the Elderlings, and I thought that was a little weird, because the Fool was a little weird. We don't see him much in the first book. Book 2, we see a lot more of him, especially through his relationship with Fitz and the king. And the Fool is very devoted to the king. He spends so much time in that room helping his king when they kind of wouldn't like to let him in there. Regal would like to keep him separated from his father, but we see a certain tenderness that the Fool has for his king, and I think that makes us start to like him a little more. And as much as the Fool is devoted to King Shrewd, Fitz is devoted to Verity. This causes a little stress on Fitz and the Fool's friendship at this point. The Fool kind of accuses Fitz of already moving on in his heart. The king is dying, Verity will be the next king, and so Verity is the one that Fitz loves and cares for. He's already starting to shift his loyalty from King Shrewd to Verity, and the Fool calls him on that. Hey, Shrewd is not dead yet. He's still alive. He's still your king. Come on, what are you thinking? And Fitz and Verity do get a bit closer than Fitz might have liked, this whole keeping their minds linked over long distances while Fitz has to do all kinds of stuff, including each one's separate bedroom time. That's a bit awkward. But Fitz is getting a lot of practice, so I guess that's great for him. And after all these human friends, people he has relationships with of varying degrees, we also have Night Eyes, the wolf cub that Fitz rescued. No matter how close Fitz gets to anyone, there is a part that he has to hold back, parts he has to hide, keep secret. Not with Night Eyes. Night Eyes can share everything and anything. Fitz is not really able to completely shut off everything to Night Eyes. I think he doesn't want to. He doesn't have to worry about betraying loyalty if it's a wolf. I think it's a relief to just be open and himself no matter what. With everyone else, he has to keep part of himself back. The only thing with Night Eyes that he'd like to keep back is his private time with Molly, and even then Night Eyes is like, why would you keep that back from me? We are a pack. This is a normal part of life. Wolf's mate. I kind of love Night Eyes and his attitude. He doesn't let Fitz hold back. He's just like, no, we are pack. But even though he can be fully open and fully himself with Night Eyes, there are the feelings of guilt. He didn't mean to bond with him. He feels guilty because of how Burek feels about this wit power. And I wonder how Fitz must feel that his deepest and most intimate relationship in his life is not even with a human. He probably would have said it was with Molly, but, things are not working out there. And he's probably realizing that he can't ever have the kind of relationship that he wants with Molly or with any other woman or human or anything. His relationship with Night Eyes is what ultimately convicts him. He is taken captive. He is beaten. Will is trying to break him, and finally Regal figures out he has this wit power. We can just murder him due to this. Regal would love to murder him and love a legal excuse. And his relationship with Night Eyes is also what saves him in the end. And really, I am not sure that at the end of this book, he wanted to be saved. His time as a wolf was the freest and simplest experience that he will ever know. And in the epilogue, the end little couple pages, it says that he still thinks back on those days as like a whole, even though it only lasted a couple of days, for him as a wolf, it lasted for a whole season of his life. But Burek and Shade rescue him. Burek desperately trying to revive him, shaking him, saying, you're not dead, calls him son. Tear-jerking moment here, am I right? And Burek, who was there with him at the beginning of the book, at the beginning of the first book, is here with him still at the end. That's all I've got on Fitz for now. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like more fantasy character studies or other book content, please subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye!